Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, you can say that back to me. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
That was nice. Thank you. In the Torah portion this week that Yon has studied, and from which he will teach us a lesson in just a few minutes, we read that this is a moment of revelation in the Torah. We read that the Torah, the commandments, the wisdom is given to the Jewish people in this moment. And there are a number of ways that we read the story of receiving the Torah at Sinai, even within the same sort of couple of paragraphs of the Torah. One of the ways that happens is that God says to Moses, call 70 elders and have them come up the mountain. And those 70 elders, as a group, will receive my revelation, my wisdom. So I was thinking about this word elders. I have a lot of gray hair, but I'm probably not what we think of as an elder, although maybe for you, I am, because I'm a bit older than he is, but not as old as some of you in the congregation. What is an elder? Well, in some ways, an elder is just someone who has kept on living, who has made it through all of those days and weeks and months and years. And an elder doesn't necessarily possess any greater wisdom than anybody else, but I would suggest that our tradition says they have a better shot at it than anyone else. Because having taken, received knowledge, and lived it day by day, week by week, month by month, an elder, at least ideally, has learned something more than a 13-year-old might know, or a 48-year-old, or even a 70-year-old. And in our tradition, we hold this idea of elders not to be a lovely addition to a life, but in fact an essential part of a life of learning, of growth, of wisdom. And we live in an American culture that does not think so. We live in an American culture that says, we know. We don't have to ask anyone else. We live in our little pods of existence, and that's all we need. We see it in synagogue life all the time. There are very few moments when the 15-year-olds choose to be in the space with the 70-year-olds or the 80-year-olds, though I think many of the 70 and 80-year-olds might choose to be in the space more often with the 15-year-olds. We live in a very separated time, a very separated culture, separated by our interests, by our distance, in fact, even by our technology. The divide between those who get the technology and those who consistently have to learn it over and over again is enormous. It is a chasm. But I think that our Torah today has something very important to say about elders. And that is, we could have gotten Torah directly passed to the people who were going to carry it forward into any number of years and generations. We could have gotten Torah passed down to your young people. God could have said to Moses, pick the ones who are going to go into the land of Israel and bring them up to the mountain so I can tell them what to do. Because the elders are pretty much, forgive me, done. They've lived. They're finished. But that is not what the Torah says. Instead, it says, bring the elders up and let them translate for the next generation and for the generation after that, taking the revelation through their lived experience and wisdom and passing it on that way. We need to be counterculture today. We need to look back to our elders, not perhaps to learn how to use Instagram. I don't know how to use Instagram. I'm going to ask Yon about that. But we do need to understand what it means to be fully human in community and living a life of purpose and meaning. And forgive me, Yon, I'm not going to ask you about that. Not yet. Maybe one day. For that, we have to ask our elders. And I hope that as much as this moment is about Yon entering his young adulthood, that it is also a moment of his understanding of all of our understanding, that our entrance into adulthood doesn't mean we're done learning from the generations that came before us. In fact, maybe just the opposite. In becoming adults, perhaps we understand even better how much that wisdom could serve our lives and the lives of generations that follow us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.